I had a couple of more observations about the NF53 SE since I've had a couple of them for a week, one of them for 2 weeks, and the dog hair over here for a week. Personally, in person, I like the pearl white better. The dog hair is real nice. I picked this one because it was 6 pounds, 14 ounces. This one here, the pearl white one, is 6 pounds, 12 ounces. And you can feel it. 2 ounces is, if you ever picked up 2 ounces of weed, then just kidding. 2 ounces, though, is very noticeable in your hand. But I like the pearl white one better. The finish actually feels more comfortable. My arm feels more comfortable on it than the dog hair, even though you don't feel the lines in it. You don't feel those lines in the dog hair at all. It's completely smooth. And in my opinion, a thicker finish than the pearl white. The pearl white's supposed to be a 4-stage finish. It's really gorgeous in person. Sometimes it looks gray when it's on the stand. I really love it. I like it better. And that guitar's a little better. They're both, so close. But, like anything, you have two of them side by side. They're only 2 ounces off, but they are different in ways. One thing I'll say now, after having these for a couple of weeks, I really thought this bridge design is really genius bridge design. I love brass saddles, brass barrels. I love the top loading design and all that. What I found with this one over here is that you can intonate, take a look at it. You can intonate that G, get that perfect. You can intonate that E, get that perfect. How you gonna adjust that B string? If Joe Walsh says get the G perfect, and he's correct. Get that G perfectly in tune. And I don't mind the B string being a little bit flat in my intonation, because the B is always a little sharp all over the place. So if that's where I sacrifice it, and I think these possibly have worked out to where the B the B is maybe the one that is slightly flat here, and that worked out. But looking at it, you have 3, and it's a brilliant design, the back and forth. But does it really, technically, does that back and forth really give you, optimal adjustment? It gives you the outside, it gives you both the outside strings, but the middle one is going to be subject, once again, to other factors. I guess, there's things I could do with the bridge saddle itself, or at the nut a tiny bit to, clean things up like that. But it's just an observation that I set, when I first got these guitars. I was like, wow, it's just incredible. And it is a great sounding bridge. I love brass saddles, are my favorite. I love this one here. It's got Wilkinson compensator saddles on it, and it's a non-magnetic telly bridge, which I would recommend. Always non-magnetic. I do not like the coupling effect of Telecaster pickups and the surrounding bridge, and it does have an effect, and I've demonstrated that in the past over the last 20 years plus, where I'll let a guitar feedback and just put my finger under the bridge and move the bridge a little bit, and that feedback pitch will change. Bullshit, you say. Well, I've done it. Anyhow, forget about that, because with this you have the pickups decoupled from the bridge anyways. And a mighty fine job. I love the pickups in these guitars. It's really all I'm playing right now are these two. The pearl white one, I'm a little more afraid of getting it dinged up because I love it so much. And this, you wouldn't notice it as much in the dog hair. But in person, I'd also say that the dog hair, when it got here, I ordered this one, it looked kind of phony. It looks forgive me for saying you might have a differing opinion, but I've got both of them. And I really like the pearl white. I like the way it looks kind of gray in this room right now, too. I really like that. The dog hair looks kind of more like oak, like limed oak, than swamp ash in person. And the lines, there's no definition. You don't feel anything of the lines. This one, I would look also, if you're looking for one of these, I would try to get a two-piece body. They're out there. I've seen them in, I'm just flipping the guitar. I've seen them in 3 pieces. I've seen them in 2 pieces. No 1 pieces yet of any of the NFs, American or Indonesian. But this one has a seam right up the middle of it, almost, maybe slightly off center. But I see a lot of them that have seams, in the cutaway, which is pretty brutal looking. I really don't like to look at that one. I'm looking at a wood grain guitar, and also I've seen them up here on the upper bout, where it's got a seam through it. And once again, you're seeing that up here. I really prefer only in the middle, right down the center, if I can have it. And since this guitar was already, great weight, and it was right down the center, no brainer. So I got that one. It sounds wonderful too. This one, fell in love with it at the shop. Still prefer it. The fretwork's just slightly just a little this and that. They do the best they can at the factory, and they do a wonderful job on the frets. These guitars play great. Really a wonderful fret job on both of them. But the pearl white is just a little more. It's just a little more special to me. And I would just, if you're buying a pearl white one, I'd look for one thing. The string alignment, you want to make sure, and all of them are pretty great. You want to make sure that string alignment's as good as possible with your neck and your pickups. I've seen them very tiny bit. Very tiny bit. They're very consistent. And other than that, just the weight. You want to get your ideal weight, whatever's good for you. Personally, I like under 7 pounds, because I'm a singer, guitar player, so, and I'm pretty old. So I like to breathe. And so most of my guitars are, under or just barely over 7 pounds. But in my personal opinion, I would go for the pearl white. It's stunning in person. I think it'll, be better in more situations, more life situations. It's a really beautiful wedding guitar, is what I would call it. You put on a suit and put this thing on. You see it in person. The luster is really amazing in person, better than in any pictures or videos I've seen. And I'd say that the white dog